Yo, what's going on YouTube? Welcome back to another sporadic video with your boy Zach. And I know I've been gone for a while. I feel like I say that every video because I'm not consistent with posting, but I really want to make it a thing to just post consistently so I don't feel regretful next year, because I can say for sure I regret not publishing over these past, we'll say 18 months or even 2 years consistently on this channel. So I want to say thank you to everybody who's still around. Thank you to everybody who's watched my most recent videos like a month or so ago, and who's just gonna stay here and be with me while I figure things out and grow on this channel. So thank you and shout out to you. And honestly, a lot of this goes hand in hand with what I wanted to talk about today, which is about creation and what that journey looks like. I'll say for the past like 4 years or so, maybe a little bit longer, I've been really entrenched in the Greco-Roman philosophy. So of course many people found me on this channel because of the videos I would publish about Socrates and Plato. Even after I stopped posting during that first hiatus or whatever, I was still reading like Aristotle. But I will say about a month ago, I started to just feel like I've had my fill of Greco-Roman philosophy. I'm still a devout follower of Stoicism because I really feel like those are one of the best philosophies to conduct your life with, especially for people who are going through hard times. But I feel more of an affinity every time I hear about it to the Russian, French, and German philosophers of the 19th and 20th century. And I'm not sure why, you know. I think back to when I was about 15 years old and I'm in school. I'm in one of my basically college classes, and we got the opportunity to read Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky, sorry. And it made such an impression on my mind because all of my life I've kind of been joked on for being too deep or whatever, but now it's time to analyze an actually deep book about society, and I'm having the best time of my life, you know. And unfortunately I wasn't able to keep that book or even pay for that book, so I ended up purchasing it maybe a month or so ago. I got a fresh copy because I love this book so much, genuinely. So this past month has been pretty much like a deep dive into creation, and creation has, like, this dive has led to so much clarity for me as well. And it makes me think a lot. It makes me really think a lot about why is that the case, you know. Why is it, for example, that action movies are the most popular movies around the world? You know, Carl Jung, he has popularized what's called the archetypes, and the archetype of a movie, an action movie specifically, is the hero archetype, where a person, maybe even a normal person, goes through some transformation which is leading to the high point of the story, and the high point of the story is them defeating the villain, you know, whether it's a dragon, whether it's another wizard, whether it's whatever, a ghost. That seems to be the peak of their transformation, and then the movie ends, you know. So it follows this arc. And why that's so interesting to me is it seems to mimic us in real life. It seems to mimic, or at least imply, what many of us want deep down, which is transformation and transcendence. from where we currently are to what our future goals are and our achievements are. And I feel like it comes down to a choice between two different ways of how you want to conduct your life. The first way is to believe that you're fulfilling a purpose that was already defined and set for you. And then the second is you are creating that purpose and definition yourself. So in philosophy, fundamentally, what these two things are is the choice between essentialism and existentialism. It could even be compared to choosing religion and choosing to be non-religious. And the two people that come to mind when I think about these two options, of course, I can't forget about Soren Kierkegaard, because he literally wrote the book called Either Or. He chose either, and Nietzsche, who is one of the people I think about, he chose the or. He chose to say no. If anything, he did the most extreme thing to saying no to religion by writing a book called The Antichrist, almost as a joke. And then the other person I think about who really started it all is Aristotle. And the reason why I say Aristotle is because Aristotle really believes that people were born with a predefined purpose. So his logic would be just like how the hair follicles and skin cells know their purpose in life. He extrapolated that with his logic of the time to say something like people are the same way. But why that turns me off a lot when I learn more about these different nuances and how people think is because Aristotle was born and had acquired massive amounts of money. So it's almost like a smack in the face. Like, of course you would believe that because you weren't born as a slave. Because according to his philosophy, if you were born a slave, it's because that's what was predefined for you. Which, I mean, it's very egalitarian, right? The reason why this whole hero journey and transformation involves overcoming something, going into the dark forest, going into Hades or hell, why that feels more relatable for more people, because people like Nietzsche and Marx and honestly even Robert Greene are just regular people. I mean, obviously Nietzsche and Marx and Robert Greene have a brilliant mind, and they are brilliant, but in general they're just regular people. You know, they're not born like Jeff Bezos's kids or Bill Gates' kids or something. They weren't born into any of this stuff. And honestly, Nietzsche, Dostoevsky, Karl Marx, they died poor. Like, they didn't even accumulate any real wealth, and honestly, many of them didn't even become popular until after they died. It's honestly the story of every artist. You get popular after you die, and not many people like Robert Greene actually gets his flowers while he's still alive, but even then he's still criticized, right? So the reason why I bring them up is because if you choose to be a creator, if you choose to be a problem solver, a world problem solver, which in my mind is an entrepreneur, if you choose to want to impact and leave your mark on this world, you're choosing the life of a creator, and the arc that you follow in life is the hero's journey. And why that is because you have to go down into Hades. You have to get bit by the spider. You have to slay the dragon in order for you to transform. But people aren't aware of that. At least that is what it seems to me, because there's like this misalignment when I speak to people about what do they want out of life? What do they want out of their career? They'll say one thing which is fundamentally opposite, the opposite side of the same coin as the other. And it makes me wonder, why is that the case? Why are people like Nietzsche and Robert Greene and Karl Marx so demonized that people only hear about the bad things that come out of these brilliant people, and not actually how these people are just like us, and they're just trying to give you some tools and resources to actually align yourself with where you want to go in life and arm you with what you need, which is a heavy dose of reality sometimes, all the time, honestly, to ground you, you know? And I really just feel like people are more afraid to read a Nietzsche or a Dostoevsky or a Robert Greene, a Karl Marx, Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber, because they would read these books and they would be more afraid that they feel like they could relate to these very normal and relatable people, besides Kaczynski, right? A little, than they would with an Aristotle. And that's my argument. And that's because Aristotle, if he were in modern time, there's no doubt in my mind that he would be a centimillionaire, if not a billionaire. And that's because he was born into it. So his perspective on why people should live the way they live, because they have a predefined purpose, how they should live, it doesn't connect with me as much, if not at all. There are a lot of contributions to, even on both sides, there are a lot of contributions to thought, art, science, all of that, especially from Aristotle. But at the same time, my goal in life, at least, is to align with what I am defining my purpose as, which is to be this philosopher king, this existential entrepreneur, this student of learning, student of knowledge, this lover of knowledge. That's who I am deep down. And I also know that in order for any type of impact that I want to make in this world to actually sustain, I personally feel like it's a mission to have to attain a certain level of power, not to corrupt and not to be corrupted, but to actually impact. Because nowadays, I mean, it's 2023, like, I don't need to lie or anything, but power, money, status matter in this world that we live in. Like, it feels like most of the world, if not all of the world, is capitalist. So if everybody is a capitalist and everybody cares about money, nobody cares about anything else, then in order, just like Chamath would say, in order for people to listen to you, get the fucking money. And that's where my head is at. That's why I want to create a community of people like us where we can put our heads together and get that money together and build something together and have integrity and do it the right way. You know, and that's why, honestly, hats off to people like Marcus Aurelius, because I couldn't imagine having to go to war, having to deal with sickness, having to rule one of the largest empires ever in the world, right after the Mongol Empire, and still have a level head, still not become corrupted by the material world. And I find that super interesting. I mean, that's why if you search philosopher king, Marcus Aurelius is the only name that pops up. Honestly, I would say after him, throughout history, we would have people like Abe Lincoln and Barack Obama, and that's pretty much it. And I haven't even fully studied them enough to say that confidently, you know. So that's what's been on my mind lately, just creation. And what does it take for a person to create? And it takes, what does it really take for a person to create? And in my mind, it takes going down into hell, going into the dark forest, getting bit by the spider, and transforming into this Superman, this Ubermensch, this Overman, this person that is overcoming themselves, as Nietzsche would say, and as he coined in this book. So yeah, that's the video. If you enjoyed this little monologue or whatever, let me know. I really plan on just kind of sitting here and going through my thoughts. I'm definitely going to be publishing every single Sunday moving forward. Also, I have a newsletter. That's something new. The link is down below. It's going to be published every single Sunday, coinciding with my videos, as another way to kind of promote my videos and stuff like that. But also, I want to really create something. I just want to create something, you know, and the only way I can create something is to create something. And that's what I'm doing. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, all the normal stuff. And I'll see you all on the next video. Peace out.